Malians voted in a referendum on a new constitution that expands the president's role and military. The West African nation is ruled by military officers who seized power in a 2020 coup, followed by another coup 9 months later that removed the interim civilian government at the time. Back then, the Prime Minister and the President were to lead a government to steer the country towards new elections. Here's a report on what the plebiscite means for the country.
In Bamako, a voter heads to the polling station to have his say in the referendum on the governing Junta's constitution. Some 8.4 million citizens are eligible to vote yes or no on the draft constitution in the first electoral test for leader Colonel Assimi Goita. The 40-year-old has vowed to lead the country back to civilian rule in 2024 elections. But election turnout was typically low in the country of 21 million. Many have grown wary of chronic instability, while others face the direct danger of terror attacks in central and northern regions. Mali's security and defense forces cast their ballots during early voting ahead of the referendum. The military enjoys strong popular support, according to an opinion poll.
I am very happy to be the first voter in my capacity as the regiment commander, and I'm very proud to have fulfilled my civic duty, and I urge all my colleagues to come and vote.
Tens of thousands of supporters and opponents held separate rallies in the capital Bamako before the weekend's referendum. Around 50,000 supporters of the Yes campaign, backed by the military government, gathered in a stadium on Bamako's outskirts. Junta leader Assimi Goita attended the meeting. Goita toured the stadium to greet the crowds but made no speech. The referendum comes in the backdrop of calls for the UN Security Council to withdraw the peacekeeping mission without delay, denouncing its failure to respond to security challenges.
Unfortunately, MINUSMA seems to have become part of the problem by fueling community tensions, exacerbated by extremely serious allegations which are highly detrimental to peace, reconciliation and national cohesion in Mali. This situation generates a feeling of distrust among populations with regard to MINUSMA and a crisis of confidence between the Malian authorities and MINUSMA.
Some of the changes in the committee-drafted constitution are contentious. Proponents say they would strengthen fragile political institutions, while opponents say they would give too much power to the president. But regional bodies and the UN see the referendum itself as an important test of the junta's willingness to stick to the transition, particularly at a time when Islamic terrorists are stepping up attacks. However, some opposition parties, pro-democracy groups and campaigners for the no vote say the non-democratically elected authorities have no right to oversee such a huge constitutional overhaul. They also say the proposed constitution hands excessive authority to the president. The religious groups in the country also stand divided.
La laïcité, dont la définition.
Secularism, whose definition is a variable geometry, is a trick that the rulers use as they see fit to lock down the religions.
Bamako has broken its alliance with Paris in favor of Russia and its Wagner mercenaries. Disputed parliamentary elections in March 2020 and mass protests against the government unable to rein in the insurgency, corruption and economic crisis ended in a coup. Assimi Goita initially appointed an interim president, but kicked him out in a second coup in 2021 and stepped into the top job himself. Now, doubts are swirling over his commitment to step down next year. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.